All right, here we are, number 10. So gonna go walk through the how we would solve this system of equations, and again, if please make sure you can do these on your own without the video walkthrough. So get some more example problems from the book as well. All right, number A. And so when we're thinking about system of equations, maybe you can think of back when we did like 2x plus 3y equals 5 and 7x minus y equals 2. And you had a couple different options. You could solve by graphing, which is one method, but it wasn't always exact. Sometimes they would cross at points that weren't lattice points, right where the lines crossed, and couldn't get exact numbers on it. So that's one option, but it's not necessarily the best. We also use substitution and elimination. Now, to be totally honest, I've never once tried using elimination on our systems of equations when they're not just two linear equations. Though it should work as long as we're just really careful about making sure we don't combine terms that aren't like terms. That being said, we're going to go ahead and use substitution because that's probably the most straightforward option we have when dealing with these problems. All right, so we're looking for things to substitute in that are equal for each other. And so I'm going to take this y and I'm going to substitute it in for the other y. Now what is this first y? It's 5x. So I've got 5x is equal to, and now again, I've plugged it in for this y. Now it's equal to the rest of what we had, which was x cubed plus x. I want to get it equal to 0 because that's how I've learned is the easiest way to solve these type of problems. And so I'm going to subtract 5x from each side. End up with 0 equals x cubed minus 4x. I look at it and go, oh, okay, well, I can factor out an x out of each of those, and it leaves me with x squared minus 4. I can, this second part we'll continue to factor in, so I've got x times x plus 2 and x minus 2. Again, still equals 0. And I've just found all my x values that are solutions. So 0, -2, and 2. Now, just like when you had systems of equations way back when, we've got to plug these values back in and actually get their y values as well. 0, and I'd plug it into the easier equation. You should get the exact same answer either way. But 0 times 0, or sorry, 0 times 5 is 0. So my first point is 0, 0. And next I've got -2. So -2 times 5, -2 is my x value, it gives me a y value of -10. Lastly, I've got 2 times 5. So 2 is my x value and gives me a result of 10 for y. There's my points of intersection for that first one. All right, over here we got b, and it's the exact same idea. We're going to take our y and substitute it in. So x minus 2 is equal to, this stuff over here, is equal to x cubed minus 2x squared. Yep, that's it. And so we're going to subtract x from each side. Leaves us with -2 equals x cubed minus 2x squared minus x. And also going to go ahead and subtract or add 2 to both sides, leaving us with 0 equals x cubed minus 2x squared minus x plus 2. All right, and let's see if this factors. So x cubed minus 2x squared minus x plus 2. And if you can go through and solve by grouping as well, or factor by grouping as well. So you can see that you'd have an x squared that would factor out, leaving you with x minus 2. And then over here, factor out that minus 1 to leave you again with x minus 2. And you'd end up with x squared minus 1 times x minus 2. Sorry, I kind of jumped ship halfway through. So there's the solving by grouping, and using the box method, we'll factor out a -1, giving us a -2, x squared, and x. Either way, we're getting down to the factors of x squared minus 1 and x minus 2. Now this still equals 0. 0 equals in the x minus 1. x plus 1, so we factor the difference of squares right here, and then x minus 2. So my solutions for x are going to be 1, negative 1, and 2. And it's 1, negative 1, and 2, so let's come back up. And we've got to plug these values in, and let me write them down again. 1, negative 1, and 2. My first answer here is if I plug in 1 for x, and 1 minus 2 is negative 1. If I have negative 1 in for x, negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. And my last one is 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. So 2 comma 0. All right, I hope that helped.